I'm Ryan, a 29-year-old software architect, wrestling with a tangle of outdated code when my phone buzzed with an alert from my condo's security system. My parents had let themselves in. I'd given them a spare key for emergencies, but this was no crisis. Dad was wielding a tape measure, sizing up my walls with precision, while Mom typed notes on her phone, squinting as if redecorating in her mind. Then my younger brother, Jackson, strutted in like he owned the place. "This is perfect," he said, sprawling on my leather couch, feet on my coffee table. Way nicer than the dump I'd been stuck in. Ryan's never here anyway. He's always at the office, Mom agreed, still typing. We'll clear the desk from the guest room for Jackson's space. Ryan can work from his company's office like normal people. Dad measured doorframes and hallways, going all in. Once we move Jackson's stuff, Ryan won't fuss, he said. He knows family comes first. We just need to do it while he's at that San Francisco conference next month. I watched this unfold live on my phone from my desk. A sharp laugh slipped out, the kind that makes coworkers glance over warily. My colleague Daniel looked up from his screen. "You okay?" Maybe not, because I'd just caught my family plotting to take over my home. But instead of anger, I felt relief. I had them on camera, and I was going to make them regret every step that led here. I own 30% of a startup that just secured Series B funding. I make great money, really great. 4 months ago, after Mom swiped my grandfather's vintage Rolex from my condo, the only keepsake from my dad's father, who actually cared about me, I installed a full security setup, cameras, sensors, the works. 3 weeks later, I saw that Rolex on Jackson's wrist in an Instagram post, him bragging to friends about buying it with his business profits. Jackson's profits? Just another failing MLM scam, propped up by our parents. I've been documenting everything since. Every conversation. Every time they chose Jackson over me, every jab about how I should support the family while he drained them. Now they'd handed me enough evidence to bury them. I emailed Jackson, "Hey, want to grab dinner this weekend?" Been too long. His reply took a while, the 3 dots blinking. They were probably huddling, wondering if I suspected anything. "Yeah, sounds good," he wrote. "Mom and Dad free too? I'll cook at my place Saturday." I had 4 days to prepare a trap. Jackson, cocky as ever, walked right into it. I grew up in Seattle, the eldest son of George and Margaret Kowalski. Dad ran a successful import business, Mom managed their rental properties. We had wealth, a big house in Bellevue, the works. But my parents stopped seeing me when Jackson was born. I was 8 when he arrived, and I went from firstborn to invisible. The responsible kid who didn't need help because he was so capable. Funny how an 8-year-old learns to fend for himself when no one's watching. Jackson got basketball camp, I was told sports were pointless. He got a shiny Audi for his 16th birthday, I worked at Best Buy for a used sedan. When I got into MIT, they suggested a state school was more practical. Jackson barely graduated high school, and they acted like he'd won a Nobel. They bought him a condo near UW, even though he flunked out after 1 semester. I grinded through MIT, tech firms, and my own startup. 3 years ago, I bought my downtown Seattle condo, corner unit, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. It was proof I didn't need their approval or money. I gave them the spare key, hoping they'd be proud. That key was about to cost them. The day after catching them measuring my place, Jackson texted. "Hey, bro, need to talk about something big." I smirked. "Sure. Come over Saturday. I'll make that Korean barbecue you all love." I spent 4 days gathering evidence, bank records of every unpaid loan I'd given Jackson, screenshots of the 7 failed businesses my parents bankrolled, proof I'd covered family dinners, trips, and gifts while Jackson took everything. The real work started months ago. 12 weeks earlier, Jackson's girlfriend, Emily, messaged me on LinkedIn, polite but direct. She'd noticed our last name and took a chance. Jackson had been charging her credit cards for his latest scheme, a crypto trading course tied to an MLM. He'd racked up $35,000 in debt, promising a surefire investment. That investment? bottle service at clubs and recruiting others into his pyramid. Emily had receipts, and we'd been working together to document it. Jackson told her I was a trust fund kid who'd never worked. He told our parents Emily's family was rich, funding his ventures. All lies. Emily was a nurse working double shifts while Jackson drained her savings. But the kicker? He'd used my condo as his LLC's registered address without asking, likely to seem legit to his targets. That tied every shady deal to my property, my leverage. Saturday came, sunny and crisp. I grilled bulgogi, set an elegant table. My condo looked sharp, successful, everything they wanted to take. The files waited in my office. The trap was ready. They arrived at 6. Mom brought a dessert tray. Dad eyed the walls he'd measured. Jackson sauntered in, smirking, acting like he belonged. Emily followed, giving me a subtle nod. She was in. "Ryan, this place is awesome," Jackson said, sinking into my couch. "You're keeping it tidy for once." "Special occasion," I said, smiling. Mom headed to the kitchen. "You need better knives, hon, these are dull." "I like them sharp enough to cut through lies," I replied. She blinked, unsure if I jabbed at her. We ate. Jackson hogged the conversation, raving about his latest game changer and investors lined up. Dad nodded like Jackson was a tech titan. Mom kept refilling his glass. Emily stayed silent. "So, Jackson," I said, setting down my chopsticks, "how's the apartment search?" He glanced at our parents. Dad jumped in. "Maybe you could help your brother. That guest room's just sitting there." "The office," Mom added. "You could work from your company's office. Jackson needs a stable address for his business. Family helps family, Ryan." I sipped my drink. "Funny, because I saw you all here earlier this week, measuring my walls, planning to move Jackson in without asking." Silence hit hard. Jackson's smirk faltered. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom opened her mouth, but I cut in. "I've got cameras. Full coverage. Installed after Mom took Grandpa's Rolex. Remember that, Jackson? The one you said you bought with your earnings?" His face flushed. "You said those were just for the door," Mom stammered. "I lied," I said. "And I've got footage of you three planning to move Jackson in while I'm at that conference." I played the audio. Dad's voice echoed, "Ryan won't fuss. He'll understand family comes first. We just need to do it while he's in San Francisco." Emily shifted, her eyes flashing. She'd been lied to, and it was clicking. Dad tried to deflect. "You're twisting this, Ryan." "Twisting? You broke into my home and planned to take it over." Mom's voice rose. "We're family. How can you be so selfish? Your brother needs help. He's building something big." I laughed. "Big? Jackson, what's this week's hustle? Crypto courses?" "It's gonna be huge," he said, defiant. Emily spoke softly. "It's a pyramid scheme." All eyes turned to her. "He maxed out 3 of my credit cards, $35,000. For what?" "Club photos on Instagram. There's no business." Jackson's face went pale. "What the hell, Emily?" "Ryan contacted me 2 months ago," she said, voice icy. "We've been comparing notes." "What's going on?" Dad asked, confused. Mom looked lost. "Ryan, what's she saying?" "Your son's a fraud." I nodded to Emily. "Show them the statements." She spread them on the table: nightclub charges, designer gear, lavish dinners. No business expenses. "He said he was investing our money," Emily said. "Promised we'd be. Place, I'll get a restraining order." "And Jackson?" "Emily's lawyer has my full cooperation. I'll watch you go down." Jackson grabbed his jacket, fuming. "You'll regret this. You think you're so smart with your fancy job and condo. You've always been a smug jerk, and everyone will see it. Better a smug jerk than a con artist living off other people's money, I said. He stormed out. Emily paused, looking back. Thank you, she said. I nodded. She'd get her money back, I'd make sure. My parents left slowly, Mom sobbing, Dad with that cold fury from childhood. You'll regret this, he whispered. When you're alone and need family, we won't be there. Good, I said. I've been alone my whole life. I'll manage. I locked the door, stood by my window, and watched the city lights on Elliott Bay. My condo, my sanctuary. Daniel called as I shut down the office. How'd it go? Burned every bridge, I said. Feels incredible. Drinks tomorrow? You're on. Monday morning, I had 17 voicemails from Mom, each more desperate and guilt-trippy. I read the first, blocked her number, then Dad's and Jackson's. The silence was golden. Emily called that afternoon. Her lawyer had served Jackson, and he was blowing up her phone. I told her not to respond, the evidence spoke for itself. She thanked me for believing her and helping build the case. Most wouldn't have contacted their scammer's family, but she knew I'd listen. The next week was hectic but good. Jackson had been running his business from 3 addresses, mine, Emily's, and a Tacoma P.O. box. The FTC was building a case against him for deceptive practices. Then my paperwork and Emily's evidence reached the Department of Justice, triggering a criminal investigation for wire and mail fraud. On Wednesday, federal agents searched Jackson's apartment, finding fake testimonials, stolen course materials, and records of dozens he'd conned. The case was solid. Daniel sent me a news article, Seattle man charged with wire fraud in crypto scam. Jackson's mugshot was textbook. I was stunned that consequences actually existed. Your brother? Daniel asked at the office. Not anymore. Jackson's Instagram went from flaunting luxury to silence. His followers asked questions, someone linked the fraud charges, and Emily posted about financial abuse. His $1,800 crypto masterclass repackaged YouTube videos had duped 40 people, who learned nothing but how to lose money. They came forward, and lawsuits piled up. My parents sent Uncle Richard, Dad's brother, to talk to me. Richard was fair, never played favorites. We met for coffee on Friday. He said Dad begged him to intervene, but he'd called Dad a fool. He'd seen them sidelining me for years, warned them they'd lose me. Jackson was a spoiled brat, and everyone but my parents knew it. He said Emily asked him to testify in her lawsuit against Jackson, and he'd agreed instantly. That kid needs consequences, he said, and your parents can't enable their way out. He gave me his lawyer's card, already briefed for restraining orders or property protection. Don't let them back in your life, he said. You're better off. He was right. Jackson's arraignment was Monday. Emily kept me posted. He showed up in a cheap suit with a low-rent lawyer, my parents looking broken in the gallery. Bail was set at $45,000, and Dad put up their house. Jackson glared at Emily, as if she'd caused his downfall instead of exposing it. Over drinks at a Capitol Hill bar, Daniel, my partner of 4 years who never judged my family drama, asked what I do now that my family was crumbling and Jackson faced federal charges. Nothing changes, I said. I keep living. They were never part of my life. Then my phone pinged an unknown number. Ryan, it's Mom, using a friend's phone. Please call. Jackson could go to prison. You're the only one who can afford a good lawyer. I'm begging. I showed Daniel. What's the move? He asked. My parents had paid $35,000 to settle Emily's civil suit, hoping it'd soften the federal charges. It didn't. I deleted the text and blocked the number. He made his choices. 3 weeks later, Emily's case settled. She texted that she'd paid off her cards. Jackson had tried to blame me in depositions, claiming I'd set him up out of jealousy, but my evidence shut him down. My startup hit a milestone, signing a Fortune 500 deal, making my equity worth retire at 40 money. Daniel and I upgraded our office, hired 3 developers. My life was better without my family. 6 months later, I'd built a dream life. My condo was mine. I'd started dating Olivia, an Amazon product manager from a normal family who couldn't grasp my upbringing. She fit effortlessly, the way relationships should. Jackson's trial was set for November, with charges of wire fraud, deceptive practices, and identity theft. His lawyer pushed for a plea, but the prosecutor wanted an example. Jackson lived with my parents, who'd remortgaged their house for his fees and Emily's settlement. Dad's business was failing, Mom sold 2 properties. I didn't care. They'd chosen their path. Then, during a Wednesday code review, I got an email, "We need to talk, no sender name." I recognized the pattern and opened it. "Ryan, it's Dad, using a work email since you blocked us. You need to know what you've done." Jackson faces 3 to 5 years in prison. His lawyer says restitution, $190,000, could save him. "We've mortgaged the house, sold assets, drained our retirement. Your mother's health is failing. People treat us like criminals because of our son. I raised you to stand by family. Where's that boy?" Jackson made mistakes but has paid 100 times over. He's trying to rebuild, get a job, but no one hires with charges. He's alone, hurting, judged. "Your uncle says you've changed, but I can't believe that. Call me. Let's fix this." I saw the manipulation. The old Ryan, craving approval, would have crumbled. The new Ryan didn't. I forwarded it to Uncle Richard, "They're still trying." He replied, "Don't engage. They're desperate. Jackson's going to prison, and they need a scapegoat." A week later, Jackson emailed. "Ryan, I know Dad wrote. You ignored him. Typical. Ignoring people in need is your thing, right? You sit in your fancy condo, acting superior. Meanwhile, your family's falling apart. I can't get a job, can't leave the state, stuck with Mom and Dad like I'm 16. You're why everyone knows my business. Emily got her money, the FTC's happy, everyone's fine except me. You've got it all: the money, success, freedom, some girlfriend who doesn't know you. You killed my life, my business, my relationship. Why? Jealousy? Mom and Dad loved me more? Congrats, you won. But one day, you'll be in that condo you guard like a vault, and you'll see success means nothing without family. You chose revenge over loyalty, money over blood. Hope it's worth it. I know your routines, your perfect life. You're not untouchable, big brother. Karma's coming." That last paragraph was a threat. I sent both emails to Richard's lawyer, who called within an hour. "The threat's enough," he said. "With the trespassing 4 months ago and this harassment pattern, we'll get a restraining order. Log everything, courts love patterns." "How fast?" I asked. "Filing tomorrow. With your evidence, we'll get a temporary order in 72 hours, full hearing in 2 weeks." I documented everything: emails, blocked calls, social media. 3 days later, the temporary restraining order barred Jackson from coming within 500 feet of my home or workplace or contacting me. The full hearing was set, but the order was enforceable now. Violation meant arrest. Mom tried one last email from her work account, claiming I was destroying the family for nothing. Richard's lawyer warned that further contact would lead to harassment charges. The hearing came 2 weeks later. Jackson didn't show, likely on his federal lawyer's advice. The judge made the restraining order permanent based on the threats, trespassing, and harassment. Violations meant arrest. I gave building security the order and Jackson's photo. Andrew, the head of security, flagged it with orders to call police if he appeared. 3 weeks later, Daniel called late at work. "Get home now. Jackson's in your building's lobby, demanding to see you." I sped home in 15 minutes, calling security from the garage. "He's still here," Andrew said. "Showed up 40 minutes ago, claiming a family emergency. We said you're not here, he's not approved, but he won't leave. Says he'll wait all night." Call the cops. He's violating the restraining order. Already done. They're coming. I heard Jackson's voice. I just need 5 minutes with my brother. It's an emergency. Andrew stayed calm. Sir, I confirmed with Mr. Kowalski. No emergency. You're violating a court order. Leave, or you'll be arrested. He's my brother. Jackson shouted. He can't cut me off. Leave now, or you're under arrest. Let them arrest me. I'll see his face when they drag me out. He thinks he's untouchable in his tower. I stayed in my car, listening. I wanted to confront him, but that's what he wanted. Police arrived in 8 minutes, trying to reason with him. He pivoted to victimhood, claiming he wanted to fix his family, that I'd turned everyone against him. The officers didn't buy it, citing the restraining order and my confirmation of no emergency. His voice turned venomous. Tell Ryan his tech bro life won't last. People who burn bridges end up alone. I'm not done. Andrew came back on. He's gone. Cops escorted him to his car. They're filing a report. He's unstable, be careful. I waited 20 minutes before going upstairs, locking my door, and standing in my living room, feeling fear, not of Jackson, but of what a desperate person might do. Olivia, my girlfriend, arrived an hour later after I texted her. You okay? She asked, hugging me. Just pissed. Fair. She stepped back. What's next? Lawyers filing a violation report. We didn't talk much, but having someone there, someone who chose to be there without manipulation, reaffirmed my choice to cut my family off. Then came the twist. A week later, checking my security logs, I found footage from the parking garage the night before Jackson's lobby stunt. A figure was tampering with my car, grainy, but the build matched Jackson's. I sent it to the lawyer and Andrew, who matched it to the lobby footage. It was him. The lawyer filed a new report, adding felony tampering to the restraining order violation. Police confirmed Jackson had been scoping my car before his confrontation. The feds, already building their fraud case, added criminal mischief. At his federal arraignment, his lawyer called it a misunderstanding, but the evidence was damning. The judge denied bail, citing his behavior as a flight risk. Jackson was remanded, my parents watching silently, faces hollow. Emily texted, he's done. Thank you for helping me see him. I replied, you helped me too. My startup soared. Olivia and I planned a Japan trip. Uncle Richard offered coffee anytime. Daniel and I toasted our success at a rooftop bar, the city sparkling below. My condo stayed mine, untouched by Jackson's chaos. The fear faded, replaced by strength. I'd built a life worth protecting. But late at night, staring at Elliott Bay's lights, I wondered if Jackson's "I'm not done" was a bluff or a promise. I checked the locks, cameras, and let the city's hum remind me I was ready for anything.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a twist. Stay tuned to Reddit Tales Times for your daily dose of drama, laughs, and unbelievable stories.